Welcome back to On Deck. We have Coach Brent Arckey from Riverview High School and Sarasota YMCA. Matter of fact, we're in a YMCA. So, welcome, Brent.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So, Coach, I'm dying to ask. Last year, your women finished third. Your men finished first in Class 4A. Unbelievable season. But I know this year you lost a couple coming into this season. So, tell us a little bit about your last year review there.
Well, we've got a great tradition at Riverview High School. As I always tell everybody, it's we're supposed to be relevant. We're supposed to be in the hunt every year, just depending on what you've got at the time. Our boys last year were fantastic. They won their first high school state championship since 1980. So really great accomplishment on that end. On the women, we've been pretty good the last decade. So we were
pretty good, Coach. You're 7 or 8 times in the last decade. You guys have won it all, and you never finish anything lower than second. And in a 4A is a pretty tough division.
Well,
your girls have always been known to be so strong, and then you back it up and you throw the men out last year, and it was incredible. What a year! And what do you attribute that to?
Well, on the men's side, I think eventually they just get tired of living in the shadow of the girls. So they knew that they had
There's a lot of trash talk going on?
Oh, for sure, absolutely. So, on the boys' side, we've got a pretty young crew. Most of them will be sophomores or juniors still next year. So we had 3 freshmen at the meet, all that were scoring, which is pretty impressive, I think, on the boys' side. You don't find too many boys that are doing that their freshman year. So that's part of the success, and those guys just finally wanting to be as good as the girls. And the girls, it's just tradition. They're supposed to be good. We don't always have necessarily the biggest girls and the most talented ladies out there, but man, they work hard for each other and see what we can do as a team. So that's what it's all about.
So as Sid was talking about the girls, what specific girls should we look for coming into the season that's going to really outperform?
Well, you've got Spence Atkins, who's been at the top of the game for a while. And you're talking about a girl that just outworks people. That's what she does. Laura's the same way. Maybe not the most maybe not the biggest girls out there, but they work, man. They just work and get the job done. Maya Lopez just scored just got to the meet for her first time. Will probably be a player on some relays next year. So, and we've got a couple of freshmen coming in that'll be really good.
And your boys, you said earlier, there's a lot of them that are young. You graduated a couple, or?
Yes, we graduated 2 big ones. Carter Page is huge, just from a leadership standpoint. He was a high school state champion in the 500, so he's
swimming in college.
Yep.
He is. He's going to
finished 200 second in 200 free as well. So 1-2 punch there.
He did. Northwestern University.
Right.
So very smart kid on top of it. Great worker. Just I can't say enough about his leadership skills. So that's a big loss. But like I said, those boys they start to understand what the tradition is now. So they'll fill the holes on the way up. Zach Kishpaw, he scored in the 200 IM. Also made the meet in the 100 fly. He is going to University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee. So.
Well, Brent, we're coming out of such a crazy summer, all these different meets. I know you had swimmers at both San Antonio juniors and seniors and another group at Y Nationals, and we're already catapulted into this high school season where you have this great Riverview tradition. But it's an Olympic trials year. It's an Olympic year. How do you use the high school season to actually get your swimmers prepared for what lies beyond?
Well, I think there's probably some layers to that. You've got different kids at different points. If you've got guys that you really think are have a legitimate shot at getting second swims at Olympic trials, you're probably talking to them a little bit differently. But then you've got a lot of kids that it's just a springboard. If you have some success at the state level, it's just one of those where you start having some confidence going, hey, let's start talking about getting to the meet. Let's start making some cuts here in March, or maybe you go to a meet in November, just trying to make those cuts and using it as a springboard. So you've got some guys that, in our case, might have a few trial cuts already, so you're kind of making that roadmap for them, but then you're also trying to springboard the other guys.
And I was watching one of your practices a while back, and you guys all suited up in the old suits. Were they all your old suits or something?
Some of them were.
The full body suits.
Oh, yeah.
That gets the kids fired up, right?
Sure. Yeah, that was
you
right
do that
before,
all the time, or?
We did that right before YMCA Nationals, and just felt like the crew that we had done some really good training. And it had been a while since we had been in a swim meet, so I felt like if they could throw up some really good times.
Broken 500s.
Right.
I mean,
broken
awesome
fives,
stuff.
broken twos, and all of a sudden they start realizing, hey, we're ready to go. So I think sometimes it's just a mental game, trying to get them ready to go and believe that they're ready to go. So.
Well, I know that there's such a great tradition at Sarasota, and certainly you coming in the last couple of years now as the head coach, and a lot of what I hear about what Brent brings is a lot of creativity and a lot of thought, things like that. And when you look at what you're all about as a coach now and where you are with that great program at Riverview and Sarasota Y, how much do you reach back into some of your mentors, and who's really affected you the most?
I've been very lucky. People that I've swam for along the way, Mitch Ivey, Clay Parnell, Arthur Albiero, then the guys that I have the opportunity to coach with, the whole Florida staff, Chris and Nancy, Hennessy and Oliver. I've had great mentors. Then I got to Sarasota and Sherwood Watts and Steve Brown. So I've had a real great opportunity as I've been coming up the ranks. So obviously all that has a big influence on what I do. And then I try to stay current on what we're doing. I had an awesome meeting the other day with Vern Gambetta, Sean Hutchinson, and Martin Wilby, and we're just throwing around ideas in an office.
That's probably good.
It's a nice crew.
Yeah,
That's a
really
nice
cool.
crew.
So always trying to change and be innovative, that's how you get better. So.
Well, thanks a lot, Brent.